Hey everyone, welcome back to Heartfelt Stories, the channel where real-life miracles and unbreakable family bonds come alive. If you're watching this right now, I want you to pause for just 2 seconds and imagine this. You're a single dad with everything on the line, rent due, a sick little girl waiting at home, and one final shot at a job that could change your life forever. You walk into the gleaming tower of a billionaire CEO, pour your soul into the interview, and completely bomb it. Heart racing, cheeks burning, you slip out quietly, ready to give up. But then, boom, the CEO himself sprints through the marble lobby shouting your name. Sound impossible? Stick with me, because this emotional roller coaster of a story is going to hit you right in the feels. If you love tales of second chances, fatherly love, and unexpected kindness, do me a huge favor right now, smash that like button and subscribe with the bell on. Let's hit 10,000 likes if this story moves you, because every single one helps me bring more of these to you. Alright, grab some tissues, settle in, and let's dive into the story of Alex Thompson, the single dad who thought his world had ended, until one billionaire refused to let him walk away. The morning sun filtered weakly through the cracked blinds of their tiny 2-bedroom apartment in the old part of the city. Alex Thompson, 34, stood at the stove flipping pancakes for his 7-year-old daughter Lily, the same way he had every morning since her mother Sarah passed away 3 years earlier. Cancer had taken Sarah fast, leaving Alex with a mountain of medical debt, a broken heart, and a little girl who still woke up crying for mommy some nights. Lily's juvenile diabetes made everything harder, constant monitoring, expensive insulin, and the fear that one missed payment could mean disaster. Today was different though. Today Alex wore the only suit he owned, borrowed from his neighbor and a little too tight across the shoulders. Today he had an interview at Hale Enterprises, the tech giant owned by the reclusive billionaire Marcus Hale. "Daddy, you look like a superhero," Lily said, her small hands clutching her favorite stuffed bear. Her voice was bright but her cheeks were pale from last night's low blood sugar scare. Alex knelt down, kissing her forehead, trying to hide the tremor in his hands. "You got this, Daddy. Mommy's watching from heaven, remember?" Those words nearly broke him. He hugged her tight, whispered a promise he prayed he could keep, then handed her off to Mrs. Rivera next door with the last $20 in his wallet for emergencies. The bus ride to downtown felt endless. Alex rehearsed answers in his head, leadership experience from his old engineering job, problem-solving under pressure, why he wanted to join Hale Enterprises. But every time his phone buzzed with a reminder about Lily's next doctor appointment, his confidence cracked a little more. By the time he stepped into the gleaming 60-story tower, his palms were sweating and his tie felt like a noose. The interview room was intimidating, floor-to-ceiling windows, a long glass table, 3 executives already seated. And there, at the head, was Marcus Hale himself, silver-haired, sharp-eyed, the man whose face had been on every business magazine for the past decade. Marcus rarely sat in on mid-level interviews, yet here he was, studying Alex with quiet intensity. The questions started easy, then turned brutal. "Walk us through a time you led a failing project back from the brink." Alex's mind went blank. He stammered, mixed up timelines, forgot key technical terms he had known cold the night before. When they asked about handling high-pressure deadlines, his voice cracked as he thought of Lily's last hospital stay. He tried to recover, but then, disaster, he reached for his water glass and knocked it over, soaking the printed resumes in front of the panel. "I'm so sorry," he mumbled, face burning with shame. The other executives exchanged glances. Marcus remained silent, watching. 10 agonizing minutes later, Alex stood up, thanked them with as much dignity as he could muster, and quietly left the room. No handshake, no "we'll call you." Just the soft click of the door behind him. In the elevator down to the lobby, he stared at his reflection in the mirrored walls and felt the weight of failure crush him. 3 years of scraping by on part-time gigs, 3 years of choosing between groceries and medicine, 3 years of telling Lily, "Daddy's trying his best," and now this. How would he explain to her tonight that they might have to move again, that the new school with the better nurse might be out of reach. Tears stung his eyes as he stepped into the vast marble lobby. He sank onto a leather bench near the revolving doors, head in his hands, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. He didn't hear the rapid footsteps at first. Then a deep voice cut through the hum of the lobby. "Alex. Alex Thompson, wait." Alex looked up, stunned. Marcus Hale was jogging across the polished floor, tie flapping, ignoring the startled stares of security and receptionists. The billionaire CEO, worth billions, owner of half the city, was chasing him like a man who had just lost something priceless. Marcus stopped in front of him, breathing hard, and for the first time that day, Alex saw something human in those famous steel-gray eyes. "Don't leave," Marcus said, voice low but urgent. "Please. Sit with me for 5 minutes." They moved to a quiet corner of the lobby cafe, away from prying eyes. Marcus ordered 2 coffees without asking, then leaned forward. "I've sat through hundreds of interviews. Polished suits, perfect answers, empty eyes. You walked in nervous, yes. You stumbled, yes. But when you talked about your daughter, even for those few seconds you let your guard down, I saw a man who would move mountains for the people he loves. That's rarer than any Ivy League degree." Alex stared, speechless. Marcus continued, voice softening. "My wife died 8 years ago. Breast cancer. I had a 3-year-old son and a failing startup. I bombed meetings, forgot presentations, showed up with baby spit on my only good shirt. The board almost fired me twice. But one investor saw the same fire in me that I just saw in you. He gave me a chance. That chance built everything you see around us." Marcus paused, pulling out his phone. On the screen was a photo of a young boy who looked remarkably like Lily, same determined eyes. "My son is 15 now. Healthy, thriving, because I refuse to let failure define us. When you spilled that water and still apologized with real humility instead of excuses, I knew. You're not just looking for a paycheck, Alex. You're fighting for your little girl the way I fought for mine." Tears streamed down Alex's face now, unashamed. He told Marcus everything, the debt, the sleepless nights checking Lily's glucose monitor, the promise he made to Sarah on her deathbed. Marcus listened without interrupting, then reached into his jacket and slid a folder across the table. Inside was a contract. Not for the mid-level position Alex had applied for, but for a newly created role, Family Support Program Manager, with full benefits, flexible hours, a salary that made Alex's head spin, and immediate enrollment in the company's premium medical plan that covered Lily's insulin pump and specialist visits in full. "I don't do charity," Marcus said firmly. "I do smart business. I want you on my team because men like you build loyalty that money can't buy. Start Monday. And Alex, bring Lily to the office picnic next month. My son would love to meet her." That evening, Alex picked Lily up from Mrs. Rivera's with pizza and balloons. When he told her the news, she squealed and threw her arms around his neck so tight he could barely breathe. "You did it, Daddy. You're my hero." They danced around the tiny kitchen, laughing until they cried. For the first time in 3 years, the weight on Alex's shoulders felt lighter. 6 months later, Alex stood on stage at the company's annual gala, accepting an award for the most innovative employee program of the year. Lily sat in the front row beside Marcus's son, both kids waving excitedly. Marcus caught Alex's eye from the wings and gave him a nod that said more than words ever could, 2 fathers who had walked through fire and come out stronger on the other side. And so, dear friends, that's the true power of never quitting when the world says you should. Alex thought his story ended in that lobby, but it was only beginning the moment a billionaire chose to see the heart behind the mistakes. In a world that celebrates perfection, remember this: your struggles, your love for your family, your raw, messy courage, those are the things that open doors no resume ever could. Never underestimate the quiet strength of a parent fighting for their child. And never be afraid to chase someone down when you see that spark. If Alex's story touched your heart today, please drop a like, subscribe, and comment, "Never give up," below so I know you're with me. Share this with every single dad, every struggling parent, every person who needs to believe in second chances. You are stronger than you know. I'll see you in the next story. Until then, hug your loved ones tight. Thanks for watching, and remember, family first, always.